Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing my full review of the Ochs Worx Osprey. This is the EDX. They call it the Osprey EDX. The EDX is the line of knives. We'll get into all that in a second. But first, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. All right, cool. So let's get into it. So this is the Ochs Worx Osprey, and it is part of Eric Ochs. He's the designer. It's part of his EDX line. So it's a production line. He is Eric Ochs is also a custom maker, and he partnered up with Reate to make this line of production knives. Of course, Eric Ochs designed it, and it is a fantastic knife. I mean, I'll just throw that out there right in the beginning of the review. This is a great knife. It's not cheap. This is in the higher end of production knives, which is to be expected when it's made by Reate. If you don't know Reate, they make amazing stuff. They have in-house designs, and they're popping up lately, mostly as the OEM for different designers. Let's see if I have... This is Reate. This is from Something Obscene Company. I have a ton of Reate knives, Reate produced knives. Where is my other one I have here? Aha, it's under a bunch of stuff. Getting it right now. And it is the Sharp by Design Brian Nadeau Epic Micro Evo Typhoon, also Reate. So anyway, my point is that when you get something built by Reate, it is going to be a great knife most times. I don't think I've had a Reate built knife that sucked, so that's a pretty good track record because I've had a ton of Reate built knives. Now let's get into this knife. We'll talk about what we have, right in front of us. I don't want to get too distracted. This is a titanium, well, I don't want to say frame lock, but I guess it's a bolster lock because you have this G10 scale protecting the frame, so you're not going to accidentally push on the frame and get too much frame lock pressure. So I guess it's a bolster lock. Now, it is a flipper only, a really excellent flipper. They also have... Eric has included this little, fuller section. When I did my unboxing first impressions, I'm pretty sure I flicked this, middle finger flicked it, and since then, I have been unable to flick the damn thing, and what I've come up with is the fuller is just a little bit too small, and I kind of have fat fingers, and the detent is strong, and we'll talk about that in this review, but the detent is strong, so I'll go ahead and try it right now and embarrass myself on camera. Yeah, it's just strong. It's just a strong detent. Yeah, no, I can't do it right now. Right before I filmed this, I was flicking it with my middle finger. I did it a couple times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have okay middle finger flick technique. I'm not an expert, but I can do it. Now, I think that Eric didn't design this to be a flickable knife. I think that it is only supposed to be a flipper. I don't know what the purpose of the fuller is exactly. Someone could tell me. Leave a comment down below. But yeah, just not happening. So that we'll get to that soon. But that is one of my few critiques of this knife is I want to be able to flick it. It's very appealing to be able to just ding, especially if the only other option is the flipper. Now let's go ahead and talk about the blade. It is M390. You can see Ochs Worx logo, very cool logo. That little compass star thing in the middle. It is belt satin, a really awesome thin hollow grind, drop point blade shape. On the back, we can see there's some oil there. I did oil this guy. You can see M390 blade steel, and then also you can see the number, the serial number. So which knife this was in the production. I think it said like I don't know, like 140 something. So that's very cool. I really like when knife makers and knife companies do that. They put the number on, so I know exactly, was this number 2000, was this number 50? I really appreciate that. So that's a huge plus for me. I personally really like to see what number my knife was. If we look at the nimble, I mean, it's you know, this is the first production run of this, but boom, 30. You don't need to worry about it or wonder. You know exactly which number knife you have. So same thing with this. Let's see, what number was it? 140. So very cool. Now, as far as action goes, really snappy flipper. I mean, Reate put some strong ass detent on this one. It's almost too strong. That, you know, it's the flipper tab is very small, which is not a bad thing. It's very, you know, push button friendly, where you just push straight in to deploy the knife. But I mean, on the positive side, you cannot fail it. I mean, it's impossible. But it's a little bit strong. It's just a little bit on the strong side. Sometimes I kind of miss it. The flipper tab's a tiny bit sharp. There's a little bit of jimping on there. But you know, it's a fine line, because the detent, you don't want it to be too weak. You don't want the flipper to fail, because this is designed as a flipper only knife. But see, that was it's a little hard. Could it be lightened up just a little bit so I could middle finger flick it? For sure. Yeah. I would like to see the detent lightened just a touch. As far as materials go, titanium, awesome. This is G10, and it's kind of that like really unusually smooth Reate G10, which apparently no other company does. They've smoothed it out or sanded it or something. Just like, I love their G10. Reate crushes it. Some of the best G10 I've ever felt. This feels amazing. Not quite as good as the, again, Reate built VBR. That G10 is like literally the best G10 that I've felt. But this is very good, very smooth. You cannot feel where the inlay ends and the scale begins. It's, I mean, like, I just closed my eyes for a second. You cannot feel the difference. You can feel, however, all of these screws, which in a way it's kind of like steampunk-ish, you know. It's like it looks very industrial, which is kind of cool. So it does fit with the, you know, the Osprey. It kind of fits with the whole vibe, the whole aesthetic with these, you know, I think of these are kind of like, for me, they're military-ish, you know, military-ish design with these little diamond milling pattern. And they are rough, don't get me wrong. On the borderline of being too rough, but they are not too rough. Provides excellent grip. So, you know, we might complain about all the screws, but I think it actually kind of fits the aesthetic of the knife. We got a pretty solid back spacer. Really, I mean, there's like jimping or some, you know, milling there, but it's pretty smooth. All the edges are very, very smooth, except for this kind of chunky jimping on the flipper tab. Centering, perfect. I did briefly take this knife apart just to check it out and put a little oil. It loosened up, or kind of broke in since I had this knife, and since I've been carrying it. It's not like, you know, crazy drop shot, but I don't think it needs to be, because the blade is thin, especially towards the tip. Nice hollow grind. This is not a large knife. I would consider this medium sized. So I don't expect it to just slam shut. It's definitely kind of a smooth shake on the close. Now, let's get into a size comparison. We got the Osprey, of course. We got the Rockwall, and let's keep this all titanium, and we'll do the MBK OG. So let's go ahead and get the, where's my, here it is. All right, let's get these measured up. For the Osprey, we got about 3 1/4 on the blade, and about 7 1/2 overall. Rockwall, I think, comes in at 3 and 7. And then the OG got about 3 1/2 and 8. So here's where you see I would consider the OG on the large side, Rockwall on the small side, and then you see where this guy fits in, the Osprey, right in the middle, kind of medium. I'll go ahead and get the Rockwall out of the way, get this guy put to the side, and I'll go ahead and open up the mini Reate. Both have these kind of, full, similarly cut out fuller sections, although this is cut all the way out. You can see both drop point blade shapes. Of course, this is a flat grind on the White Mountain Knives exclusive, and this is, come on, look at that hollow. So nice. Now, as far as ergos go, gotta get this out of the way. See, I kind of missed the flipper tab there. As far as ergos go, it's extremely comfortable. Like outstanding ergos. I don't feel the clip at all. Everything is very comfortable. I do feel this diamond textured milling, which I actually think is a nice thing in this case. The back of the knife is a little bit pointy back here. It's a little bit sharp on this back edge. This back spacer, the first 3/4 of it, smooth, and then it's just a little bit sharp right on that edge. And it feels a little bit pointy, but again, I'm kind of nitpicking because the ergos are very smooth, very solid, comfortable, kind of, blends in with my hand. My only real critique for the ergos, there is no jimping above this fuller. So I do feel my thumb sliding around, and the little bit of cutting that I did with this knife, that was an issue. I don't really have a good spot to put my thumb. Now, if I'm kind of choked up and I'm doing some kind of precision cutting, that's fine. I don't really need jimping for my pointer finger, but for my thumb, I need a place to land right here. If they could have done the this kind of diamond texture up top, just along the scale right here, that would have been great. Or just a little bit of jimping above the fuller. I think that would have been an awesome decision to make it just a little bit more secure, more stable. Now, when I took this knife apart, I noticed that it is a free spinning pivot, which just means that I need 2 bits, one on either side, to unscrew the pivot and take the knife apart. Is that a huge deal? No. Is it annoying? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't take my knives apart every day. I'm not like crazy about taking them apart. I don't feel the need to unless I have to oil the knife or clean it or something. But for a $330, it would have been nice if there was a D-shaped pivot or a captive pivot, so I can just use one tool. I can use my fulcrum, unscrew one side, and then get the knife apart. Reate built a $330 knife. You kind of expect certain things. I expect a really ridiculous Reate blade and grind. We have that. I expect amazing ergos. We have that. And I also expect a captive pivot, and we do not have that. So Not a huge deal. I feel like there are some improvements that Eric was already talking about for the next run of these. There are some of these knives still available on his website. It's ochsworx.com. Works with I think it's WORX. So for sure, check these out. There's a couple different variations. I got the blue G10. They also have kind of like a green micarta inlay, and then they have some classic carbon fiber. So you can still get these, which is cool. Because again, sometimes I'll make a video and whatever it is sold out or impossible to find, but these are still up on his website. The clip in pocket was great. Does not move at all. It's simple. It's titanium. Felt good in my pocket. One screw. No complaints there. I don't feel it when I hold the knife. Pretty good retention. Easy in and out of pocket, and it's not deep carry. It's not deep carry, but it's close, you know. Only about that much of the knife sticks out. Let's go ahead and try. I'm gonna try and flick this again. Oh, come on. Nope. Either I have weak fingers or the D10 is just a little too strong. But I was flicking it a couple times earlier today, so who knows? Would I like to just go ping and have it fly out? Definitely. Action again is super smooth. There's just not that many critiques with this knife. You see the lanyard hole, which I will never use, but I guess that's cool that it's there. And one thing that I did notice is sometimes, even when I'm pressing on the scale, I mean on the insert, the inlay, the G10, sometimes I still get a little bit of frame lock pressure, and it's just a little bit harder to deploy. If I keep my fingers low by the clip and don't touch, I know if I touch, you know, the frame, obviously it's gonna push on the blade and not deploy, but if I keep my fingers off the G10 and off the scale, all of a sudden it's super easy and it flies out, which is weird because normally with this type of bolster lock, even if you're on the inlay, it doesn't matter. You know, you can put as much pressure as you want and it will still fly out. So just something I noticed, a little bit interesting, that I can still get I can still get frame lock pressure on it even through the G10 inlay. So I thought about maybe that's why I can't flick the damn thing sometimes, but that I'm pushing on the scale because it's kind of jammed up in there. But I have done it before, so I'm like determined to flick this thing. Let's see if I can do it before I end the video. No, not happening in this video. If you want to see me flick it, go to my unboxing and my first impressions. That just about covers it. I'm looking for, although these are on his website right now, I'm looking forward to seeing what he has next for a production. Eric has come out with production runs before, but I feel like this is you know, his best work as far as production knives go. Of course, this knife is running on bearings. It is super smooth. It's going to get smoother as time goes on, and it's gonna definitely break in. And for sure, it's gonna get a little bit easier to deploy and a little bit more drop shut. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this knife breaks in. I have already carried it a few times. This is my full review, but I will continue to carry this knife because it's so damn nice. This is really, I love the way it goes. It's really light for a titanium frame lock, and it feels great in pocket. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Knife Standards. I will catch you later.